Tim London and one of our students, Miss Only Wei, to give us some information about the Academy of Future Education at XJTLU and also the programs we are having. And there will be Q&A sessions after their presentation, so stay tuned. And now let's welcome Dr. Tim London. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry for the hiccups there at the beginning, but that's sort of par for the course sometimes. As Hayun said, I'm Tim London. I am the Director of Learning and Teaching here at the Academy. I'm also currently the acting head of the Educational Studies Department, and I'm also the Senior Associate Professor here. So I joined XJTLU in July of this year, so I'm relatively new, but I'm excited to be able to talk about our programs here and share sort of what we think is exciting about them, and hopefully you'll be interested in them. And then, like I said, I'll do a presentation, and then we have a little bit at the end, and then we'll have some time for some questions from you as well. So I would normally click through, but we're having a bit of issues there. So I'm going to ask Hayun to click through my slides for me, which is not normally how things work around here, but I hope she doesn't mind doing that for me. So Hayun, if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see?
It's still my smiling face, which no one needs to see for this long.
Sorry, let me try the new share.
You do not have to apologize. I'm the one who can't get mine to work.
This one? Is it working?
Still me.
Still?
I mean, I look great in that picture, but...
Yeah, you're fine. Sorry for this. Really shouldn't be happening. But my phone's, no, my computer seems stuck.
I'll just sort of launch into this. I said to hopefully have some time for some conversation at the end, but this is the Academy of Future Education. We have a different vision than, we're not a traditional school of education. That is not what we're designed to be, and that is not what we are. So we're really fixated on thinking about educational innovation. We're really thinking about what's next for education. What should the educational system be like? So what does that mean for teachers and school leaders and system leaders? So developing people who are forward-thinking and thinking creatively about what education should look like, not just what it looks like now. So that's the vision for the Academy. And then the Department of Educational Studies does a lot of the work in that area. So the master's programs we'll talk about later sit within the Educational Studies Department. A word we use is glocalized, which is a combination of global and local. So again, trying to figure out how do we bring in the best ideas from around the world, but make them locally relevant as well to Suzhou and to China in general. So we don't want to lose what's important and exciting about China, but we also don't just want to look there for ideas. We want to look other places as well. Let me go to the next one. So part of what you're going to do is you consider, which programs you want to join or which institutions you want to go to school. Our rankings, I've got questions about rankings, but that it is something people consider in terms of evaluating where they want to spend their time and their money and their resources. So we've recently been ranked in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings in the area of education in the 401 to 500 range. I'm going to assume, because they can't tell me any differently, that we are 401, but we don't actually know that. We're somewhere in that 401 to 500 range. They don't tell you specifics of that range. So we're one of 22 universities in mainland China that are on the list, and we're the only Sino-foreign university who's on that list. So again, 400 to 500 out of all the education institutions in the world is obviously very good. And again, we're sort of in a special place here in China of being one of 22 and the only Sino-foreign university that's on that list. We can go to the next one. So these are the research areas. And again, this is important for you to think about because, again, the faculty you'll be working with who are teaching your classes, who will be your dissertation supervisors, and working with you on a regular basis. These are the types of areas that they'll be working in. And again, you'll see these areas reflected in the modules that you would be taking as you go through any of our programs. So again, you can see a lot of it is around forward thinking. So managing and leading change, cooperative and work integrated education. We'll talk more about syntegrative education, which is, again, how we connect what you do here in the classroom and the work you do there with actual internships or placements in professional settings to develop your skills there. We obviously have a strong influence of technology-driven education innovation, especially for those of you who are interested in the master's in digital education. And again, the student-centered education and educational experiences, a lot of what we're focused on here is based on that. So your classes will be based on that. And then also, again, it's an area of research for us. So again, we have a variety of areas of research that we hope are interesting to you. Again, it's important to you because it speaks to the faculty you'll be working with on a regular basis where their interests and expertise lies. So again, what we're looking to do with our graduates. So we get people from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different areas. What we're trying to do is cultivate leaders and explorers in the transformation and development of education for the future. So again, it's very much this future focused, not just doing what's always been done, but thinking critically about what's been done, and then thinking creatively about what could be done better. Maybe it's keeping it the same, maybe it's doing it different, or maybe it's starting something else entirely. So we're really interested in people who are excited and passionate about, again, not just about doing the job, but thinking creatively about what does the job really entail and what should we be thinking about in the future. So we have a strong focus on the future of education, which talks a lot about then educational innovation, where can we innovate? And all of that is around the educational ecosystem. So if you join us, you will find that we talk about educational ecosystems a lot, which again is about getting all the different parts connected. So getting the family connected to the schools, schools connected to the professional spaces, again, informing policy and government and having those types of conversations, connecting people who practice in different areas or in different ways with each other to talk about, again, what works in education and what doesn't. So we're really, again, focused on how do we serve as a platform for making these connections in an ecosystem so that we can keep innovating and improving education. We can go to the next one. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that with a couple of different programs. Well, we do that with our research, but then, for your interest, we do that also through a bunch of different programs. So right now we've added some pathways to these, but the main master's degrees are a master's in global education, a master's in child development and family education, and a master's in digital education. Again, within some of those programs, we also will be offering pathways soon, again, to maybe specialize a little bit if you're interested in that. We also offer a PhD in education, and we are hoping to offer an EDD very soon. If you're interested in the EDD, keep watching our website. Hopefully we'll have some news about that very soon, and we'll be able to add that to the list again soon. But so we have over 30 PhD students and about 205 new master's students in this last intake, for a total of over 450 master's students. We're definitely trying to grow those numbers, thus events like this. So you'd be joining, again, a growing academy where there's lots of students who are already here, and then lots of new students coming in all the time, coming from a variety of places, variety of backgrounds. So again, I think it makes it very interesting and vibrant space as we continue to grow. So again, you can see where people are joining us from. So students who have graduated from different universities around the world. You can obviously, some of those are very, very highly ranked universities. So when you're here, obviously that's part of what we're trying to do, is connect you with what we think is our great faculty, but also a key part of your learning experience will be the students connecting with other students. So again, who you're in the classroom with, who you're working on projects with, the conversations you can have inside class, but also outside of class. That's one of the things we're looking for, is we want to have you in a really dynamic space where you're working with really smart people, and that you're the really smart people as well. So we'd be excited to have you join, and again, bring your own unique experience in terms of where you did your degrees previously, those institutions, those different countries. How do we bring those all together so people can learn about, we had a conversation yesterday in my class around, well, it works differently in Canada. So we talked about how some things how they work in China versus how they work in Canada. So like those are interesting conversations that we can have. So we're always trying to work on that. So again, there's lots of tons of institutions out there that are offering tons of master's degrees. So, we try to say this is how we try to stand out by providing what we hope is sort of a different experience, definitely, and we think a better experience. So one of the key things that we try to offer is what we call CCA, is co-curriculum learning activities. These are opportunities that go along with the modules that you'll take as you go through the program to further develop. So it's additional places to learn and grow your skills or your understandings of things. So there's all kinds of different CCA activities that will be offered to you every semester. Some of them will run during the fall or spring term. Some of them will run into the summer. But there'll be opportunities for you to do work as a teaching assistant, perhaps, doing some project development and operations. So again, developing programs or projects that are relevant to your work. Doing research with faculty who will need often support in some of the articles that we're working on or books that we're working on. So again, developing those research skills for yourselves. And then there's a whole bunch of other opportunities that we have, again, as a relatively unique academy, not a traditional school of education. Then we have lots of different opportunities for online and offline programs, exchange activities, again, trying to find where we're trying to make connections with employers, all those different kinds of things that can occur. So basically, before the start of every term, you'll have access to this big portfolio, and we'll say, hey, we're looking for people who can contribute in the following areas. And you'll be able to look through in each semester and find, again, a project or a teaching assignment or some research that is really interesting to you. Try that out, connect with faculty or other students or our staff, and develop skills in those ways as well, not just in your modules. So again, another thing we're trying to do, which is really important to us, I was in a meeting with the university's president this morning, talking a lot about Education 3.0, where education is going, and a big part of that is about serving as a platform. So as a platform that connects all these different groups. So we have a lot of different forums and conferences, competitions that we host on our campus. Again, to be modern, we host those on our campus, but we also make those available online to try to generate, again, as much engagement as possible. So no matter kind of what you're interested in, there's going to be events that'll be hosted by the academy that the academy can connect you with at the wider university. And what we're always trying to do with those, again, is to get smart people talking to other smart people. So we're trying to serve as a platform for that. You can see some of the examples of those different competitions and events that we have on the campus. But again, as you would see, we have seminars and events and talks all the time that you can engage with just in the academy alone. Every week, basically, some of our faculty do presentations on the research they're working on. We also host sort of a bi-monthly teaching and learning innovation event that we're going to try to connect students with as well. So there's lots of opportunities here for, again, we're a place that is trying to serve as a platform. So we're trying to bring different people from all across education, both in China and abroad, into one place, again, smart people to talk about challenging ideas and move things forward in that way. So we have a lot of international faculty as part of that. Again, we have a very global view as well. I'm obviously, you would have probably figured out, not from China. I'm one of many faculty that we have from around the world. As an example, I grew up in America. I'm a dual US-UK citizen. I've worked in Northern Ireland and England, South Africa, Egypt, Saipan. You'd have faculty here who have lived and worked in many different countries, faculty from Russia, people who've worked in Japan, worked and lived in Japan, from all over. So that's our goal. Again, we're trying to expand our ideas. And part of how you do that is talking to people who have different unique experiences. So again, in your classes, you'll meet people who've lived and worked in different countries. Some of those will be faculty, some of these will be students. But the crucial thing is we're going to share ideas. Again, this is how we do it in this country. We can talk about whether that makes sense in China or not. But it's a chance to exchange ideas from lots of different places. So again, you can see in there that mix of, again, people who've gotten degrees from pretty fancy places, so pretty smart people and coming from lots of different perspectives. And again, in addition to the CCA that we talked about before, around those opportunities for doing work outside your modules, we're also very invested in what we call syntegrative education, or industry-involved education. So what that means is just how do we connect, again, what you're learning in the classroom with the professional side, and how do we take the professional side and make sure we're including that into our classroom. So we do a lot of internship and employment support. You can see here a number of different education providers that we partner with. We just were at an event earlier today where it was very nice to meet some of the mentors who come from different schools that work with our students. So we had an event to sort of thank them for all their hard work. So it's a nice event with the mentors, the faculty, and our students who've been participating in that. So you can see here again as an example of the different schools and education institutions our students will intern at and work with. We're trying to expand that all the time. So we're developing deeper connections to existing partners and also looking for new partners. So again, that's an area where if you were to join us and you say, hey, I'm looking for this type of internship, I don't see that, we'll work with you to try to find a placement for that as best we can. But this is a list that we're trying to grow all the time. But you can see, again, there's a range of different levels of education, different types of education, and works in corporations as well, or educational technology. So again, we're always trying to expand those options for students. So this is just sort of a map that you can see here, again, where we're trying to develop you from the start all the way through your program. So again, for a full time, we'll get into this as a year and a half, maybe a little bit more, depending on your program, to part-time being around 2 years to 2.5, 3 years. We'll talk about how it's different for each program later on. But what we're trying to do here is just show you the development process. So again, what we're trying to do, we've got a bunch of graduate attributes. What we're trying to do is take you from where you are now and build you up over time. Again, part of that's the classroom learning, part of that's the research you'll be doing. And then a huge part of that is going to be the connections with employers or practical spaces through CCA, or through internships or industry-involved approaches. So you can see here just sort of a map of the different things we'll be doing to always keep matching the professional that you'll be going into with the research and the theory and the work you'll be doing in your classroom. So how do we support you along that path so that when you graduate, you've got a degree, you're even smarter than you were when you joined us, but also that we're making sure that you're going to be, when employers look at your CV or when they talk to you, they're going to be very impressed by what you're doing and being able to translate what you've learned in your classes and your experience here into the job market there as well. So we also support that with events, as I said, but then also, we provide some support with career counseling. You'll be assigned an academic advisor when you start. You'll be assigned a development advisor. So the academic advisor is there to help you plan out your courses or the modules you're going to take. Start thinking about how you're going to match those together. A development advisor for supporting you. Master's study, for those of you who haven't done it before, is obviously very hard and very challenging. For a lot of you, you'll be balancing your master's studies with personal relationships, family, friends, those kinds of things. So again, we want to make sure that you're supported in doing that so that you are as successful as possible. We'll also then match you up with some employer events that we just talked about as well to try to connect you again to start to have those conversations earlier and organize those for you so that it's something we provide to make it easier for you to start to make some of those connections. And again, an external mentor for when you're on these events to try to, again, bridge that gap between where you came from, what you're learning in the classroom, and again, the professional expectations as well. And again, so you can see some of the connections we have already in place. This is just a sample of, again, different opportunities that are in existence. Again, this is growing this isn't everything, and these are growing all the time. So we'll continue to build on this as we go along. But this is just an example of some of the options that are available for connections to after you graduate. So again, just a list of some of the things we've talked about here as well. I won't go through every single one of these, but you know, we're in Suzhou, which is about a 20 to 30-minute train ride from Shanghai. Suzhou itself is very interesting. There's a ton of business and education here. For those of you who don't know, it's called a second-tier city, which is funny to me coming from America because it's still 10 to 12 million people. That's how big China is, of course, that makes you a second-tier city as opposed to a massive city. So there's lots to do in Suzhou, lots going on in Suzhou. But then we're also very close to Shanghai, which again is even bigger and more massive. So it's a very compelling place to be, a very interesting place to be. We teach in English here, so we're an English medium instruction institution. So everything will be taught in English, and you'll engage with things in that language. We have a fairly condensed program, especially if you're going full time. For those of you considering full time, it's less than 2 years to do the degree in most cases, so it's fairly condensed. So if you're doing full time, you don't have to drop out of the workforce for a very long time. We try to make it as condensed and workable as possible. Again, we have great support for, again, matching your classroom work with the employment side of things. And again, we have this international teachers who are going to come from lots of different perspectives, lots of different backgrounds, and give you, I think, some really interesting insights to think differently about education as well. So a little bit about the programs. Again, you may be in a position where you know which programs you want to do or which program you want to do, or you might be still deciding, but you can obviously look at our website for a lot more information about the individual programs. But just to talk about them briefly, we have our Masters in Child Development and Family Education, and Dr. Tay, Juliana, is the program director for that particular program. You can see there on the left, 1 through 6, those are the key things that we're trying to do with that program. Again, this is around child development and family education. So again, really trying to understand, how do children develop? How can we play a role as educators or people who work in education in aiding that development? And also, again, a key part of a child's development is always going to be the family. So how does education connect with the family as well? So that, again, it's that ecosystem of, it's not just the child's development, it's how do we develop the family and the child so that they work together. So that's the focus of that particular degree. If you can go to the next slide, lays out some of the specifics. So if you're interested in that degree, again, full-time, you do that program in 18 months. Part-time is 30 months. So again, pretty condensed. Most master's degrees, full-time would probably take you 2 years. So we're a little bit shorter than that, which is nice. Again, to get you back out into the workforce again. And you can see that, again, the requirements that you would need in undergraduate majors. Obviously, again, if you're sort of having an undergraduate degree in that space of child development and family education, it's great. But you'll find that there's people who are in related areas as well. So again, I'm someone, my first degree is in psychology, but I was trained as a teacher. I have degrees in law and business. So again, I think a lot of these things are interesting. So we're always trying to look at not just what your degree is, but how you would translate that degree if it's in a different field into this space, and why you want to move into this space. So again, there's a mixture there for all the programs. So we won't talk about it every single time, but there's a mixture here of lectures, of which I don't like the term, but essentially lectures where in a larger group setting, you'd be engaging with each other and with the faculty member, and then tutorials where we would put you into smaller groups for that module, work on activities, have smaller group settings. So again, there's a little bit more one-to-one attention with the faculty, and also opportunities to make sure your voice is heard and you can exchange ideas as well. So those are the modules and semesters, again, depending on whether you do full-time or part-time. Those are the titles of the different modules that you would take as you work your way through the program. Again, this is available on the website as well. So I'm going through this fairly quickly. But again, if these programs are what you're interested in, you can find it on the website and sort of scroll through it a little bit more slowly, and so you can take it all on board. But one thing I will note is, again, these are the topic areas. So if those speak to you, this might be the program for you. But also there's a dissertation there. So this will be true for the Masters of Global Education as well. There's a dissertation at the end of the program. You would get a dissertation supervisor. So again, another piece of support there for you. So one of our faculty would work with you as a dissertation supervisor to help you craft a good research question, to help you develop your research, gather research, analyze it, and create a full dissertation. And that would be the final step in your program process for this degree and for the global education degree. So the global education degree, as we just talked about, has a different focus area, obviously, than child development and family education. This is really around, again, about understanding how education sort of as a whole works, concepts and theories of education and global education. What does that mean for, again, how you teach, how you organize a classroom, if you're interested in school administration, how you run a school. For those of you who are interested in higher education, we have sessions on that as well, about how these things apply sort of all throughout the schools, the educational system, not just schools, but the wider ecosystem as well. So again, if you're interested in nonprofits or consulting in education, this might be an interesting area for you. So again, it's around global competencies and future-oriented thinking. So we talk about what is and what the research says, but also we spend a lot of time talking about what could be and maybe what should be, and how we might create that. So again, you'll see the duration times for this is the same as CDFE, 18 months for full-time, 30 months for part-time, so a fairly accelerated pathway. Again, for the undergraduate requirements, again, we have plenty of students who come from an undergraduate degree with education or something like that, but we've got a lot of people with different degrees in different areas where, again, they're trying to move into this space. So they come from a business training background or a finance background, but they're interested in applying that now in an educational space. So they need a master's degree in order to sort of fully understand the education side of it. So again, with this program, you would have a mix of lectures, sort of larger group settings, and again, tutorials where you'd have smaller group settings and more opportunities to engage with each other. Again, you can see the modules that you would take for this. So again, if you look at those modules and those topics seem to appeal to you, this might be the degree for you. And again, you'll see things about educational internship here on all the programs, just to highlight that we talked about before. But that placement into a professional setting where, again, you would connect the professional experience with our faculty here and with the education programs here. So again, making sure that in all these cases, that integrative, that industry involved education, that you're always connecting those things. And again, I'd flag there's a dissertation at the end of this program as well. Same thing, you would be assigned a dissertation supervisor, and they would help you to finalize the skills, research questions, and build that dissertation up. And that's the final part of this program as well. And then the MSc in digital education. So this is around, again, obviously focus what it says is digital education. So what is that? What is digital education? What has it been? What should it be? What is it now? How does the digital side of things impact education? How is it used? How could it be used? And really thinking about the problem solving about how do you use digital tools and technologies effectively. So again, what's out there, and then how does it make sense to use those in different ways to really improve the educational system? And again, whether that's at the policy level or the school level or the classroom level, and in different settings. How do you use technology effectively to do that? So again, we'll talk more, but this is another program where we have students who come from a variety of different backgrounds. And again, they might come from the technology side, and they want to learn more about the education, or they're in the education side and they need to learn a little bit more about the technology side. You'll note that this program is a little bit longer. So the full-time is 24 months instead of the 18 months for the other programs, or 36 months instead of 30 months for the part-time. So it's 6 months longer than the other two programs. And again, based here, I won't go into this in depth, but again, we have lectures and tutorials that balance those things out as well. And again, the background, as I mentioned before, we get a real mix of backgrounds on this particular program as well. And again, the full and part-time, the modules you would take in sort of in the order you would take them. So you can see there that there is syntegrative learning, which is similar to the industry involved process that we mentioned on the other, or the internship we mentioned on the other program. So in all of the programs, you will have this very intensive connection between the placement in a practical setting, in a professional setting, along with connections back to us. So that is true for all of our programs. It's a key part of everything we do. And in this case, we call that syntegrative learning. It's run a little bit differently, but it's the same basic concept of, again, giving you that real world experience and connections with the practice and the professional. The one difference here to note is the research project at the end instead of a dissertation. So again, there's more details on our website, but you would again be supported in this process of doing your final research project, which again, a lot of the same types of skills, just a slightly different project. But again, this idea of identifying a research question that you want to address, collecting good data, analyzing that data, and coming up with some conclusions and what next. So it's a slightly different project from a dissertation, but a lot of the same basic skills of, again, critically examining evidence and figuring out what to do with that. So those are our three programs and the modules, and again, the dissertation, and again, how we try to connect that with practice and professional. And again, but it's, your experience here will hopefully be more than just what you do in the classroom and what we try to do in that regard. So we have a lot of student societies and activities that you can join while you're here. Again, it's a great way to meet people that you are in a classroom with, but maybe don't get to talk to that much, but a chance to, again, reflect and meet with some different people from all around the world. Also meet some people from other parts of the university as well. So outside of the academy and your program, it's a chance to meet and interact with people. Again, I can't stress enough, a lot of what you'll learn in a master's degree should be certainly from the faculty, but also a huge amount is what you learn from other your peers and your colleagues who are going to be going through either the same program or different programs. So these are our opportunities to connect students in that way. Again, on the XJTLU website, you'll see this huge array of different societies and activities that you can join while you're here. And while you're here, this is the campus. It is, I think, obviously I came here, so I was impressed, but it is a beautiful campus. I think it is really fantastic looking. It is a great mix of sort of east and west. It's quite hot in the summer, I'll warn you about that, but it is a beautiful place to be, and we've got lots of facilities here that we're continually adding to. So just at the academy alone, we're trying to figure out how to build a digital lab. Where we place that, what do we resource it with? So the academy itself is relatively young and we're growing. So one of the opportunities for you as students is to contribute to that growth by contributing your ideas and letting us know, hey, you should really have this type of technology, or you should have this type of space. Those are things I'm very interested in my director of learning and teaching role. How do we create the right, again, ecosystem? I'll go back to how do we create the right environment that's going to maximize student learning and the student experience. But I think if you came here and saw the campus, you'll see that it is a really stunning place to be. It's beautiful and it's growing. Yeah, so I think that's a selling point for sure. And like I said, our facilities are growing all the time. So there'll be, again, what we have in the academy, but also we're trying to always connect you with what else we have on the campus. So as the university grows as well, there's some pictures here of some different facilities that we have. Again, some of those will be relevant to you, some of those won't be, but we have a campus, a north and a south campus. We also have the Taisong campus, which is focused on entrepreneurship and innovation. So again, if there's things that you're interested in doing, you can usually find someone else at the university who's interested in doing that. And there's lots of facilities spread out all around the campus, north, south, and Taisong. And again, so we're always open to, if you're trying to make connections and you're struggling with that, or you're curious about that, let us know, and hopefully we can help you make those connections. And again, if there's facilities that we don't have, that you think we should, not going to promise we don't have all the money in the world, but if there is interesting facilities that you think would really benefit you and or colleagues into the future of what we're trying to do, we're more than happy to engage with you about that, either individually or, and I don't think there's a slide on that, but one of the things we offer is a student staff learning liaison committee. So there's lots of opportunities for you to share your feedback, what's working, what needs improvement, what needs adding. There's lots of opportunities for you as students to contribute in those ways. And again, certainly from my point of view as director of learning and teaching, there's what we're trying to do and there's what students perceive of what we're trying to do. So if there's things where we need improvement, I'm very open to that. And again, I think you'll find that when you're here that myself and the faculty are very willing to listen to feedback on what's working and what else we need to be doing. And again, it's not just about the brain, but the rest of you as well. So, we've got a very nice gym, which I've only been in once since I've been here, just because there's a gym closer to me. But there's some very nice relaxation places. There's some very nice sports centers here. The gym here is literally, 200 meters from, if you left the main building here for the academy, it's maybe 200 meters to the gym. So it's very close and convenient for that. So again, you can, if you just have 30 minutes in between the classes or something, it's easy to get there and back in time. Or if you're one of those morning people, you can hit the gym in the morning and then head over to class without being too big of a problem. So it's massive. It is really beautiful in there and nice and well equipped. And again, this isn't necessarily sports centers, but part of the learning environment is there's lots of open spaces with comfy chairs and couches and tables for you to, again, meet with each other outside of class, whether that's about classwork or whether that's just about planning events for the weekend or something. But there's a lot of spaces to relax and connect with people, coffee shops, restaurants, all on campus, good food, good coffee, and opportunities again to chat with people. So I mentioned before, Suzhou is a very interesting place. I haven't seen everything that I've wanted to see yet, but it's a very fascinating place. You might have heard about the canals. They call this the Venice of the East, which I don't know. Venice is pretty nice, but this is pretty nice as well. So there's lots of water all around. We're obviously two major lakes right in the middle of the city, which are very nice to go sit by and look at. There's, again, tons to do in Suzhou that is very modern. And then we have some lovely, very old Chinese gardens that are hundreds and hundreds of years old that are pretty spectacular as well. So there's a little bit of everything for people. Some nice restaurants if you're into that. There's some nice trails and walks around in the area. It's very easy to get around. There's a tram system or a metro system. And there's also a good amount of buses that go around on a regular basis. So getting around is pretty easy. I use Didi a lot, which is essentially like Uber for those of you who don't know. So again, getting around the city is very easy. There's very modern parts of the city. There's very old parts of the city. So it's a nice mix of all those things. As I mentioned before, it's also nice that it is quite close to Shanghai. So if you want to get out, you can get out. There's 3 different train stations in Suzhou that will take you on trains to whether that's Shanghai or Beijing, or further west or further north to all parts. So 2 major airports, obviously in Shanghai, and then the trains, high-speed trains will take you pretty much anywhere you want to go in China pretty fast. So it's about, I think the fastest train to Beijing is about 4.5 hours. So again, pretty easy to get out of Suzhou when you're ready to get out of Suzhou, but plenty to do here as well. So if I haven't put you off or I haven't scared you away at all, this is how you would apply. You need to provide a personal statement, why you're interested, what you're hoping to get from a degree, transcripts of your studies, and degree certificates. And there is an IELTS requirement, which is changing. So you want to look at the website for the latest numbers on that. 2 letters of academic reference, a CV, and a scanned copy of your passport or ID. Again, we will have different processes for that, but that's what you would need to submit. In some cases, we would then do an interview to follow up with you. In some cases, we don't need to do that. So it sort of depends on a case-by-case basis as we evaluate all these things. So, but these are all the things that you would need to provide to us in order to apply. And then again, here's some, if you have further questions, obviously I've been pretty fast about this. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've been pretty fast about this. But if you have questions or comments that we don't get to today, again, you can find us, you can email us, you can look at our WeChat account, our Instagram, our Facebook. Those are all different ways that you can follow along with us or reach out to us if you have a question. That wasn't answered by today or in some other way, just reach out to us and let us know, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And if you just want to follow us, again, I follow the WeChat account that keeps me up to date on. Again, usually I'm up to date on what the Academy is doing, but on other events in the university when you're here. There's all kinds of sort of interesting and exciting things that may not deal with your major or what you want to focus on, but are really interesting. So lots of good talks. Really interesting research people are presenting in all different fields. So it's if you follow along with that, it's a nice way to learn about other things that are going on, again, maybe outside of your classes that you're going to take. So I went through that, I think, hopefully not too fast, but pretty fast. But I think then we have time at the end here, right? That's my question to Hayun. Yes, okay.
Yes, there will be Q&A sessions. Thank you, Tim, for the excellent presentation.
Yeah.
And next, we will have one of our students from Child Development and Family Education program, and she will share some of her experience here in China in XJTLU. Let's welcome Ms. Only Wei.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you for having me today. And yes, I am a first semester student of Child Development and Family Education. My name is Only Wei, or can call me Candy. That's my name. Long story, but I'm from Malaysia. Yeah. And I'm trilingual, meaning I speak English, Mandarin, Malay language, the Malaysian national language, and I also understand Hokkien and Cantonese. And why I graduated for quite some years, actually, for 6 years. But I've always wanted to do my master's. I knew that I wanted to be in the child development and the education industry. Because of COVID and some personal opportunities and whatnot, it took me 6 years. And why I chose to come here is what I really want to emphasize to you guys as well is to read the module outlines. Because once you read the module outlines and look at the learning outcomes, you really will know if this course or whichever, like global education or digital education, is really for you. Because under Academy of Future Education, there's 3 major master's programs. So I really recommend that you read through the module outlines to make sure that you're in the right master's course. So for me, it was very clear for me because I like working like directly with children and young people. So it was clear that I was going to choose CDFE. I'm going to share my screen now. It was really hard for me to choose the pictures to share because there's so many photos on my phone just within 4 months, no, 3.5 months that I've been here, because like what Tim shared, there's a lot of things to do in Suzhou. And the school is beautiful, the campus is beautiful. So I took so many pictures. I'm going to have to expand this. Yep. All right, just quickly, because it's almost 5, I'm going to talk about living in Parfait, which is the accommodation that was recommended to us. I cleaned the room specifically to take this picture, so it looks pretty clean, okay? And this is my living room with my housemate. So for details of the housing, you're gonna have to like look on the website. But I have three housemates from Indonesia, Korea, and I have a French housemate too, who's leaving next month because she's an exchange student. And these are like beautiful pictures that I took around the apartment. And what I really like about living in Parfait or like living in near university, there's like a couple more accommodation options that you can choose, but generally it's really clean and very safe. Convenient as well. Like for me, I come to school, I have like three different options coming to school, coming to university. I can either walk, which takes like 10 to 15 minutes. And then I can either cycle, which takes me 7 to 9 minutes, or I can take the bus. So usually I cycle because I want to exercise. But it's really convenient because the bikes are literally right outside of the apartment. And also it's convenient because for a Parfait specifically, like this apartment, we have delivery like lockers right outside of our apartment, and whatever parcels that you receive when you like order stuff online, you have your own like storage, delivery storage, so it's really convenient in that sense, and it's affordable compared to obviously like living like renting outside, or I don't know, compared to like European countries, I guess. And mostly actually I want to share with you guys uni life. I before coming here, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take part in anything. I'm gonna focus on my academy. I'm gonna like make sure I get first class and just do what I need to do, you know, to study and all that. But after I came here, like first week in, I was already like doing so many things and taking part in a lot of activities just because like they are like accessible and available for you. You step into school and because we have like WeChat groups and we have like WeChat subscriptions, so you get information about all these activities. So this picture of me holding fish is a very recent activity. It was an autumn festival, so it was really beautiful. I couldn't help myself. I had to take so many pictures, and it was fun. There were music, people dancing, and then 2 or 3 stations of people singing, playing the guitar and whatnot. And then there were like fun activities that you can do. So I caught some fish. Yeah. And yeah, just some pictures that I took from, this is from the opening ceremony, and then this is from one of the music festivals. There are a few. I actually missed out on a few because of like submission deadlines, assignment deadlines. So but if you are able to, you can take part in so many of the festivals. There's the library, and then canteen food. Oh, I decided to share this. It looks okay. It does not look very, very appealing, but I still decided to share this because it was my first meal in school, so I had to share it. And about my social life here, besides my dorm mates, I also made friends with here on the right corner, top corner, my Malaysian, Indonesian, and Singaporean and British, yeah, and one British guy. We got to know each other from one of the health check. Yeah, we had to do a health check after we arrived, so we were in the same bus. That's how we knew each other. And I like to say that it's great that we have a buddy system for all like international students. If you're first year, so the middle 2 guys are our buddies. They are actually younger than us. They're like undergrad students, but they're in like the buddy CCA or something like that. So there were buddies for 4 of us. So this guy's from Penang, also from Malaysia, and these 2 other guys, Russian and British. So for masters international student, we have like this buddy system for you to like, they will take you out 1 or 2 times. You can tell them where you want to go. If you want to have a campus tour, they'll take you to do that as well. Or if you want to like go to the city center, they'll take you to do that as well. So we told them we wanted to go to Suzhou City Center. So they took us there. And we have for my batch of CDFE, for my batch, we are quite close. And just 2 weeks ago, our class like rep suggested for us to have like a get together, like a bonding thing. So we rented like this Airbnb kind of place, like it's like a house, and then it has like karaoke room and then like game room and whatnot. So we had like a get together, and then it's beautiful, like behind the house. This is the view behind the house. So you can make many friends, many different circles if you're willing to like, get out there and meet people. And if you're in the international like apartment, which I am at in the Parfait apartment, it's easy to like get to know people from different countries. And of course, this is an important part, which is my academic life. I can't really see clearly like exactly what's on the slides in the pictures. But these are like classes from, pictures from different classes. So I have my child and adolescent mental health right in the middle. Why it's in the middle is because it was my first lecture ever. So I had to share this picture. And then I have special education needs, sorry, on the bottom right corner. And then I have developmental psychology, and then I have family principles on the bottom left corner. So some pictures from different lectures. And tutorials are really interesting. Most of my tutorials are really interactive, where you actually stand up and get to like do things. So especially for like the code is 4 and 7. It's a mental health for children and adolescents. We have like drama workshop. And then we have like brainstorming, you get to present. Yeah, what I really like most is really the drama workshop. It's very like make you reflect and a lot of introspection in there. And then top left corner was my final class today, so I had to share it as well. It was a tutorial from, I think, at 10:30 to 11:30 just now in the morning. And it was our last tutorial. And we also sometimes have guest speakers. So on the left, you have this introduction to family therapy. It wasn't really a lecture, it's more like a sharing from I think he's a director or something in a clinic, in a psychology clinic in Shanghai. Yeah, I forgot his name. Oh, his name is Davey. Yeah. And then we also have a guest speaker who is a student counselor in XJTLU. So she shared about her path in becoming a student counselor, an education counselor. We only had her few days ago, so I have a picture right here. And also we have a lot of additional support at the start of the semester. You have like the orientation, and then we have staff faculty members telling us what kind of resources we have about CCA that he mentioned just now. And this picture, the second picture you can see here is we have an internship and job fair just, I think, last month. Yeah, so it really helps you to like speak to potential like schools that you want to work for, or like businesses that have like they're in the education setting. And picture on my right, sorry, on the right corner, and this teacher, her name is Miss Angela. So additional support in terms of English or like academic writing. That's a bunch actually, but you only have so much time. So I only took like her class, which is once every week, and it's totally like optional. But it's really good that you go, because like it's provided by the faculty for you to improve in whatever area you want to improve in that you need to. So it's really great. And one last thing I want to say about like, especially because I can't speak for other like master's program. I'm just talking about my batch and my master's program in CDFE. Maybe because it's like masters, and also some of your classes, you're gonna be with part-timers, like the students who are doing part-time. So a lot of them are already working and have a lot of experience in the education industry. So some of them are like business owners, some of them are teachers, some of them are school counselors. So you get a lot of like perspectives in the tutorials. And of course, if you make friends with them, you talk on WeChat, you have like a group chat or whatever, you share a lot. And for me as an international student, it's really beneficial, because coming here, I was really curious about the education system in China, right? And before coming here, I thought there's like only one type of education like pathway here, which is like what they call the Gaokao, which is like the high school living examination, but apparently it's not. So things like this more like easier to understand when you hear it from like this teachers or like your course mates that have firsthand experience in all this. Yeah, so it's really great. And they're really nice and supportive. Like I'm looking for an internship position now, and they'll give you like tons of advice and share with you like resources and whatnot. So this is my experience so far with XJTLU CDFE. It's been 3.5 months, and it's been great. I really enjoy myself, although it's getting really cold and I cannot wait to go in the sun. I cannot wait to go back to Malaysia to my 28 degrees. Yeah. But other than the weather, I'm good. I really like it here. Yeah. And didn't have enough time to see everything in Suzhou yet. But like Tim said, like I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of touristy things that you can do once semester ends, which is in about 7 days for me. Yeah. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Li Wei, for sharing. That's really interesting for me to listen even. And for the viewers, do you have any questions? Either for Tim or for Li Wei. If you want to open up your mic, then feel free to do so. If not, you can type in the chat box, or you can email us via this.
Hello, Tim. Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I've already done my master's in project management. I'm very interested in education studies, and I'm looking for some scholarships. Do XJTLU provide scholarships for PhD students?
Yes. There is a set of scholarships for that. You would need to go to the website for the Academy, and there will be a page about PhD. And there'll be an email address there. Sorry, I don't have it right in front of me, but there'll be an email address there. There we go. That you can click on, and it'll tell you the details and also who you need to contact to do that. But yes, there is money available.
Very much. It was really nice to have you on this platform. I really enjoyed this meeting in this webinar. Really,
Great.
thank
Thanks
you.
very much. Appreciate that.
Any other? If you don't have any further questions, then we will call it a day. And like I'm showing on the screen, you can contact us, email us whenever
Yeah.
you can, and we will respond to you as early as possible. So thank you all for staying with us. I
Yeah.
wish you a good day, a good weekend, or a good evening. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.